Hello everyone, back into today's second video. So we're doing Goswami Sunday Round-Up for today's second video. As was on a Sunday, we've got your eclectic mix of this and that. Going to be looking at things like solar activity, sea surface temperature, anomalies. We're going to look at the SOI, the AO and the NAO, and we'll have a look at the weather next week, 10 days and beyond with this one as well. Going to be a little bit slimmed down. We're not going to look at the QBO this week or Arctic CI. It's got a very, very busy day today. We've just released summer forecast. We have an autumn sneak peek and a live stream coming up this afternoon, so I thought just slim this one down a little bit and get through it just a little bit quicker than normal. Those other features will be back next week, of course. So, as I said, the summer forecast has been released, so if you haven't seen it yet, then do catch up with it. That video will be placed on the summer forecast page at gazweathers.com tonight. There'll be a written forecast that goes with it as well, so you'll have to have a read of that whenever you would like to do that. Watch the video on demand. As I say, it's going to be a little sneak peek for the autumn coming up later on this afternoon, as well as a long-range bandwagon rolls on from summer updates to autumn updates. Now, before we do anything else, I'm going to say that you've got just a few more hours left to become a Goswami's channel member for free if you are signed up to YouTube Premium. So if you're a YouTube Premium member, you can get Goswami's YouTube channel membership for free until the end of today, that's how you can become a Goswami's channel member for free if you are a YouTube Premium member. That offer runs out tonight at midnight, I assume, and YouTube have asked me to pass this on to everybody. So, yes, free channel membership for YouTube Premium members until midnight tonight. Click the join button, take you through to another page where you can see the benefits you get for becoming a Goswami's channel member, and you can also sign up on that page as well. And by the way, it's subscription or subscribe Sunday. So if you are not subscribed to Goswami's YouTube channel, then please can you give us a sub, and you'll be notified when we release content and whatnot. On Patreon, I've suspended billing just for this month, so giving patrons an opportunity to switch from Patreon to YouTube channel membership. If you want to remain as a patron, that's absolutely fine, not a problem at all. We just want to give everybody a heads up of what's happening on YouTube, because they're very similar, a very similar idea, Patreon and YouTube channel membership, but the difference is that with YouTube channel membership, you can get benefits and perks that I'm not really able to provide through Patreon. So it's up to everybody to do what they want, but I've suspended billing just for June, and then everybody can make the decision whether they want to become a channel member or stay as a patron and whatnot. So yeah, it's in the hands of everybody to do what they prefer. So big thank you to all the patrons, big thank you to all the channel members and all of our PayPal donors as well. Right, let's show a few of your pictures. So this one was sent through by Lee Stone a few days ago. This is on the North Devon coast, and this one also on the North Devon coast, sent through by Lee Stone. This is from our good friend Richard Traw, showing a sunset up there in the Redcar area. Fantastic couple of pictures showing sunset in Redcar. These are posted on our Discord, so we've set up a Discord server for Goswami vids. The link to the Goswami's Discord is in the description with the video. This from our good friend Adrian Major. This is a view from Adrian's garden. What a view that is! And again, this one just here from Adrian Major. What a view Adrian has from his garden. This one is from our good friend Shiram, showing nice view across Sedgley in the West Midlands. And another one there from Shiram, showing very nice, bright, sunny afternoon in Sedgley in the Midlands. This from our good friend Siren Brewing, showing sunset in Dublin. All of these posted to the Goswami's Discord, of course. This one is from VXLKS. Again, I think this one is over in Dublin as well. And some more here. Fantastic pictures. Really so many really good photographers that are following us. So that's why I always want to set aside a little bit of time to show you pictures, because so many of you are really talented with your photography. Savvy noticed some people you haven't seen very much, and identified flying object, something called a plane, in the sky over North Wales a few days ago. So I haven't seen many of those, but there we are, playing up in the sky. Small from VXLKS. So yeah, really fantastic pictures. Thank you everybody for sending those through. This was an email to us by Harry Walker, Harry's cat, enjoying the sunshine there. And this one sent through this morning by a good friend James Acrill, our Analogues guru, James Acrill, showing, now I've got to pronounce this right, noctilucent, I think that's how you pronounce it, noctilucent clouds at 2:30 this morning over his farm in Lincolnshire, or in Lincoln. So big thank you to everybody. Absolutely amazing picture, that one. Amazing picture of those noctilucent clouds. So thank you everybody for sending through your pictures. If you'd like to have your pictures, as I say, we're setting aside the first part of GWV Sunday Round-Up to show some of your pictures. So if you would like to have your pictures featured within the Sunday Round-Up, then you can share them with us on our social media accounts. You can email them to us at gazwebs@gmail.com. You can post them to our Discord server, and the chat at gazwebs.com is coming back tomorrow as well, so you can post them there. And we are setting aside a few minutes at the beginning of GWV Sunday Round-Up to show some of your pictures. So thank you so much, everybody, for sending for your pictures. As I say, we have so many talented people who watch our videos and are talented photographers. So I did want to set aside a little bit of time and once a week so we can go through some of these pictures. So a big thank you to everybody for sharing their pictures with us. Right, where are we on the tab? So we're just there. Okay, we're going to start off with solar activity. So this other solar disk is looking on our side of this today from solarham.net. We've got a spotless solar disk today. There are no visible sunspots, and therefore solar activity is at very low levels and is expected to remain at very low levels for the next 3 days. This is GWV's solar activity tracker, updated to yesterday by our noctilucent cloud photographer James Acrill. Big thanks, James, for sending this one through. And we can see the orange line depicting each individual day's worth of solar activity. So you can see we've been through a very prolonged period without any sunspots. We did just have a little tick up yesterday, but I think that was a very minor tick up. I think back down pretty much to having no sunspots again for today. So yes, get the odd day coming through that has sunspots. Not many of them. Really, most days still don't have sunspots. The days that don't have sunspots are quite clearly outnumbering the days that do have sunspots. It means that our trend lines, which are our thick green and thick red lines, they are sort of flatlining way on the floor of the chart. In fact, they have ticked down a little bit more, in fact, over the past few days, really on the floor of the chart now for trend lines. And so all of this tells us that solar activity is at very low levels and remains at very low levels. We're expected to stay at very low levels for the time being as well. So yes, it really is a case that we're still well and truly in solar minimum, and we're going to be keeping in solar minimum for the time being also. At some point in the next few weeks, we'll have an announcement from NASA to tell us that Solar Cycle 25 has started. It's possible we're already in Solar Cycle 25 and haven't had the announcement yet. But, you know, we are very low levels of solar activity currently and will remain so for the time being. Now, this was sent through by our good friend Richard Trott. So this is showing spotless days and the current spotless stretch. For 2020 so far, we've had 120 days without any sunspots. That is 79% of the year so far has not had any sunspots on the solar disk, visible sunspots on the solar disk, 79% of the year. That compares to last year, we had 77% of the year without sunspots. We are at deep true solar minimum. This is a very, very deep solar minimum. It's actually a little bit deeper than the last solar minimum. That was in 2008 to 2009, where we had 73 and 71% of those 2 years without sunspots. So last year coming out at 77% without sunspots, and this year so far 79%, shows that the solar minimum for this solar cycle 24 to 25 is actually a little bit deeper than the solar minimum that we had for solar cycle 23 to 24. So this is a very, very deep solar minimum indeed. When you have such a deep solar minimum, it does take quite a while to pull out of it. So I would expect, even as we move through into the beginning of solar cycle 25, we will probably have a very weak beginning to this solar cycle. That's certainly what happened with solar cycle 24, and I would suspect, because it has been such a deep solar minimum, we will see that continuing as we move into the start of solar cycle 25 as well. Big thank you to James and to Richard for sending those through to us. Now, this is how the sea surface temperature anomalies were looking in terms of the old version of the sea surface temperature anomalies on Monday. They normally update twice a week, these charts, on a Monday and a Thursday. I'll tell you why I'm not showing you the very latest day on Thursday in a moment. But this is how things were looking on Monday. So we have our 3 areas of interest. The ENSO region is just there, the northern Pacific Ocean over here, and the North Atlantic is over there. So in the ENSO region, obviously, we have got this weak La Nina signal beginning to set up. It appears that we are starting to inch our way towards a bit of a cold event in terms of La Nina. At the moment, it is only a weak affair, but it does look as though we're inching in that direction. In the northern Pacific, or the northeast part of the Pacific Ocean, again, sea surface temperature anomalies are continuing to warm up there. And over in the Atlantic, we've still got a pretty warm tropical Atlantic, while further north, we've got quite a cold area of sea surface temperature anomalies, like from the eastern seaboard of the States and Newfoundland, and going up past the UK and Ireland, and then connecting back towards the Norwegian Sea. It does get a little bit less cold to the south of Greenland, but still a little bit below average with the sea surface temperature anomalies there. Now, the reason I'm showing you Monday's chart is because we haven't got Thursdays. So this would normally be showing Thursday's chart, this 28th of May. We'd normally have Thursday's chart there to show you. It's showing page not found. I've got a feeling that this will be the last ever updated chart from the 25th of May in terms of these old sea surface temperature anomaly maps. I think that the images have now been discontinued beyond 25th of May. So I don't think we will be able to see these charts again. I don't think we'll be able to see them again newly updated. We will be able to look back at all the archive charts. That won't be a problem. All the archive sea surface temperature anomaly maps. But I've got a feeling, I could be wrong, we might get an update on Monday or something. But I've got a feeling that could well be the very last chart that we get sort of newly updated for this. And so then for new charts, we'll have to move on to the high resolution new version, and this is it, of course. So again, this is how the new version looks. There's the ENSO region just there. We've got the signature of La Nina beginning to develop through the central part of the actual Pacific Ocean. Looks quite a bit warmer up in the northeastern part of the Pacific Ocean up there. And over in the Atlantic, it does look like a little bit of a tripod, with things being a bit warmer to south of Greenland, colder through here, and then warmer down there. I can't say any more than that, because we're going to be releasing the Goswami's winter 2020-21 NAO forecast before too much longer, and so I have to sort of hold my counsel at this time of the year and not say too much about what's happening in the Atlantic. But certainly on that view, that is quite an interesting looking anomaly. but we've got there up to the 29th of May 2020. One good thing about this new version of the sea surface temperature anomaly maps is that they do update them daily, whereas before it was only a couple of times a week on a Monday and on a Thursday. Anyway, that's brought you up to date with that. I shall keep looking to see whether we get any more updates with the old version, with that version, next week. But I've got a feeling that could well be the last chart that we have there for the 25th of May 2020. But we shall see. Right, going on to the SOI, this is Solar Oscillation Index. So this is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state, not driving anything in its own terms, just tells us what the atmosphere is doing. So it's measuring air pressures in the southern Pacific Ocean between Darwin in Australia and Tahiti in the South Pacific. When the SOI is in its positive phase, then the atmospheric setup can be reflective of La Nina. When the SOI is in its negative phase, then the atmospheric setup will be reflective of El Nino. To get either an El Nino or La Nina developing and snowballing, you really need the atmosphere and the oceans to couple up with one another. We know that the ocean is pretty, when we looked at this in the ENSO update, of course, on Friday, we know that the ocean, the equatorial Pacific Ocean, is pretty well primed for going into a La Nina phase. We're already seeing the signs of it on the sea surface temperature anomalies, of course. The one thing we also need to see, though, is the atmosphere going in that direction. Looks as though it could be, actually. So these columns just here, this is showing the column air pressures. This column is showing air pressure for Tahiti. This column is showing air pressures for Darwin, and then this column is the SOI number overall. These are preliminary, but they don't tend to change all that much. So going back to the 21st of May, we had quite strong positive SOI number at plus 10.97. That's reflective of La Nina. We did get a couple of quite negative days around the 23rd, 24th of May, -4 and -14. So again, that's just going more towards an El Nino type setup. But most recent days have gone very positive again. 29th of May comes out at plus 8.90. 30th of May comes out at plus 17.79. And the 31st of May, today, very ahead of us, Australia, of course, comes out at 20.01. Very positive, and that's the atmosphere being really quite strongly reflective now of a La Nina. And so this is lifting the SOI 30-day average upwards. So you can see that back at the beginning of May, the SOI was down here. Where it is right now is around there. So yes, we are gradually seeing a bit of an increase in the SOI 30-day average. It does look as though everything is starting to inch its way towards a La Nina. We're suspecting it's going to be quite a weak La Nina. This is how the CFSV2 is forecasting things to develop. So we're currently around here, around ENSO neutral. By July, we're just reaching La Nina thresholds. And then we really stay around or just under that half a degree below average right way through the southern into Europe. So it doesn't look like it's going to be a particularly strong La Nina. Although, having said that, these events can sort of spiral and snowball and strengthen quite quickly, more so than the models think they will. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. We may get going to quite a significant La Nina, but at the moment, the CFS anyway, is forecasting quite a weak event. What it is, though, is quite a quick flip into this La Nina. So that's where it was in April, and this is where forecast being July. But it's quite a dramatic movement in terms of sea surface temperature anomalies within a 3-monthly period. It's like going from over a degree, it's like dropping over a degree. So that's giving us a little bit of uncertainty with our summer forecast. How will the summer forecast all be explained and revealed in that? Why it's proved to be a very tricky forecast to get together for this summer. So weak La Nina looks like it's developing and on the way. This is going to be the last time we look at this. This is how things look in terms of Eurasian snow cover and Arctic sea ice. So, yes, we're pretty much snow-free now across vast portions of Siberia. Still got a little bit left up towards sort of Arctic, the Arctic Circle within Siberia. But basically, most of Eurasia is now snow-free, except over mountainous areas. We've lost a lot of snow over Northern Scandinavia as well over the past week. Arctic. Of course, it's a very delayed spring across Scandinavia, but things have started warming up over the past few days. So I don't think we'll look at this again until we get through to September, as all that's going to happen is those patches of snow will also, we will also lose those white patches, really, except over very, very mountainous areas. So in about 2 or 3 weeks, there's not really going to be anything left to see. So we shall start looking at those again when we get into September. And of course, that will be part of our winter updates, because we always keep an eye on how quickly snow cover is advancing across Siberia and Russia within the winter updates. So it's only 3 months, can you believe, until we begin the winter updates. Unbelievable that we've only got another 3 months to go, but those charts will be coming back when we begin the winter updates. Right, let's go on to the Arctic Oscillation then. So this is how the Arctic Oscillation observed and forecast chart is looking. Remember, as with like the SOI, the QBO, and so many of the other indexes, this is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state. It's not driving anything in its own terms. It just tells us what the atmosphere is doing. So when the SOI, when the AO, I should say, is in its positive phase, you've got low pressure up over par. When the Arctic Oscillation is in its negative phase, you're gonna have high pressure over the Arctic when the SOI is when the AO is in. Let's do all of that again. So when the Arctic Oscillation is in its positive phase, you're going to have low pressure over the Arctic. When the Arctic Oscillation is in its negative phase, you're going to have high pressure blocking over the Arctic. I've only been doing this for 8 years. You're going to expect me to know what I'm saying. Yes, when the AO is negative, it's high pressure over the Arctic. When the AO is positive, it's low pressure over the Arctic. Now, what we've got at the moment is neutral with the Arctic Oscillation. The GFS ensembles, though, are forecasting the Arctic Oscillation to move into a more negative phase. So actually, through the first half of June, it looks like we're going to get a little bit of blocking appearing within the northern latitudes, and that's probably going to force down, or it will force down, some cold and northerly winds, actually, in the next few days. So big changes are on the way. It's very warm at the moment, but this time next week is going to be quite a lot cooler, and that's happening via an increase in pressure over the Arctic, or partly anyway, that's happening via an increase in pressure over the Arctic. So yes, AO going into its negative phase in the next week or two. The NAO is also on the move as well. So again, this is just measuring air pressures in the North Atlantic. When the NAO is in its positive phase, you've got low pressure around Iceland, high pressure around the Azores, and it's the reverse when the NAO is in its negative phase. At the moment, again, we're quite close to neutral, really, but the GFS ensembles are forecasting that the NAO is likely to dip down into a more negative phase through the first half of June. So for the first half of June, it looks like I've got a little bit of a pattern change coming up, actually, to something potentially quite a lot cooler for a while, and maybe a little bit more unsettled too, but we shall have to see about that. Let's have a look at the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. We're at London today, or West Central. So the red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for London. We're starting off quite close to average at the moment. We're going to go pretty significantly above average, actually, in the next few days. It's going to get hotter than it has been through the opening 2 or 3 days of June. There's an outside chance 1 or 2 places might reach 30 degrees sometime around Tuesday afternoon. But then after that, we get this drop in the temperature coming along through the second half of this week and into next weekend. Temperatures get a lot cooler before probably starting to show signs of beginning to stage a recovery as we move further on through this second week of June. So really starting very warm, becoming cooler, and then probably seeing a warm up as we move up towards the middle part of June. That appears to be the way the upper air temperature ensembles are trending today. In terms of precipitation, lots of dry weather coming up over the next few days, gradually getting a little bit more unsettled at the end of the week into the weekend and through to next week. Then not precipitation spikes with a great deal of conviction. So again, it does remain to be seen how much precipitation we get out of these northerly winds and the pattern change that we've got coming up in the second half of this week. I think we're talking more sort of showers rather than any sort of general heavy rain. But some places will get some rain. And interestingly, also it does get a little bit wetter actually as it moves in towards the middle part of June. And that's a time when the temperature is picking up as well. So maybe by middle of June, we start to see something a little bit thundery perhaps. Temperature anomalies on the 31st of May to the 8th of June, so just a little bit below average, actually, going to be a bit cooler than average. That's quite impressive, given we are starting off for the next couple of days really quite hot. So that just goes to show how significant the drop in temperature is going to be, but it's coming up in the second half of this week. Precipitation anomalies from the 31st of May to the 8th of June, drier than average, especially so for England and Wales, near normal up across Scotland. Outside the GFS midnight run is looking for Wednesday, so high pressure pulling out to our northwest on Wednesday, beginning to turn the wind into a northeast direction. That will start to bring in some cooler air from the northeast, and then as we go through into the second half of the week, then we start to drop into a proper northerly. So it takes a little bit longer actually to get into these northerly winds than was forecast a couple of days ago. It's not really until the very end of the week and into the weekend that we go into the northerly, but by the weekend we are into those northerly winds. Again, not sure how much precipitation there will be with that. Northerlies aren't normally overly wet, but probably bringing showers at the very least, particularly to more northern and eastern parts of the country. We keep with those northerly winds through to the beginning of the following week, so this is Monday the 8th of June, looking quite cool with winds in from the north then. And as we head up towards day 10, we just start to see signs perhaps of the Azores high beginning to ridge, and that's how things look as we move into more extended range. So particularly for England and Wales, we're turning drier and warmer there as the Azores high starts to send its ridge back towards us. Still looks a little bit unsettled further north though. By the time we get through to the very end of this GFS run, which is Tuesday 16th of June, we're basically under the ridge from the Azores high then across the whole country. So this GFS run turns things drier and warmer, or turns things warmer, and would certainly for the south be quite dry as we go through the second week of June. It wants to bring the ridge back in from the Azores. This is how the GM is looking. So again, we're putting in those northeasterly winds on Wednesday, looking a little bit cooler, and that cooler air then gets down into the south, even into the south on Thursday. We go into the northerly winds as we go into next weekend, so we do have this shot from the north, and there may be showers involved with that. Quite quickly, we cut off that northerly bow by Tuesday, the 9th of June. We're building the ridge back up from the Azores high again, so that's bringing drier and warmer conditions back as we move into the second week of June. And then we get to day 10, which is Wednesday the 10th of June. We just start to pull the high pressure back out to our west again, perhaps bringing another trough in from the northwest, something like that. But it's quite a short northerly interlude with the GM, and then back into warmer dry conditions for a few days before possibly going cooler again by around day 10. And then the ECMWF looks like that. So again on Wednesday, taking the high pressure away to the northwest, pulling in these northeasterly winds, and then we set in the northerly as we get through to next weekend. Again, showers associated with that, showers involved with that. And then the ECM does do something different by day 10, actually brings an area of low pressure in from off the Atlantic. Now, that would bring significant rain. So, you know, I'm a little bit dubious about how much precipitation there is with these northerly winds. So, with the northerly winds, I think we're just going to be talking about showers, and a lot of places will probably miss them, especially down in the south, and stay dry. But if this comes off, what we see for day 9-10, this low pressure coming in from the northwest, that will bring actual outbreaks of rain widely across the country. But has the ECM gone off on a bit of a tangent there? We won't know until we look at the ECM ensembles, and we can't do that for this video, unfortunately, because I haven't updated the Icelandic Met Office yet. But we will show the ECM ensembles from the Icelandic Met Office in our live stream that's going to be coming up from 5 o'clock this afternoon. This is the precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from TibetShow.com. So lots and lots of dry weather coming up over the next few days. Get through to like the middle of the week, and we bring this cold front in from the northwest. That brings some rain to more northern and northwestern parts of the country. It's quite an active cold front for a while, but notice how sort of starts to fizzle out really as it pushes down across England and Wales. Still some quite heavy showers for parts of South Wales and South West England, but for the Midlands, East Anglia, South East England, not much doing in terms of precipitation on that cold front. Then going to the northerly, and that brings showers, particularly to more northern and eastern parts of the country. Yes, they may be a little bit wintry over the tops of Scottish mountains with these northerly winds. Again, you see, we're not talking about widespread rain here. We're just talking about showers being brought in on these cool and chilly northeasterly winds. The most prone area with a northerly to showers is, of course, going to be Scotland. And again, there is a potential for a little bit of wintriness over the Scottish mountains, but very, very little precipitation getting down into the south, you'll notice. Until right at the very end, when we bring that low pressure in, and look at this, it's our first band of really proper rain sweeping across the whole country by around day 9-10. However, we don't know whether the ECM has gone off on a tangent by day 10 or whether that idea is supportive in the ECM ensembles. We will look at that in our live stream this afternoon. And then finally, we've got CFS V2. So these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. The first week period will take us from the 31st of May to 6th of June. The coming week sees a high pressure on the move. It's retrogressing from being to our east to being to our northwest, which means we keep things relatively dry, really, as we've already established, although there will be showers in places. But the main thing is that we turn the wind into a northerly, and the temperature cools down a lot. Notice a lot of low pressure to our south. That's going to bring some very unsettled conditions in towards Spain and Portugal. Then go through to week 2, which is the 7th to the 13th of June. Low pressure then across much of Western Europe, actually. High pressure out in the Atlantic. So that's still quite cool and probably quite unsettled too. That might bring some rain to more southern and southeastern parts of the country where we really do need it. Week 3 is going to be the 14th to the 20th of June. High pressure then getting going over Scandinavia, turning the wind into the east. Low pressure looks like it's slipping away to our south, so that's probably turning things drier and warmer in this week as the low pressure sort of slips away to the south and heads down towards Biscay. We find the high pressure over Scandinavia taking over, turns winds into the east. Easterlies should be quite warm by the middle of June, so that could potentially be quite a warm and dry week, and then, or a drier week anyway, and warmer. And then we go through to week 4, which is the 21st to 27th of June. Looks like then we're beginning to build up a ridge to our south. Still got a bit of high pressure left over Scandinavia, and we've got some low pressure out in the Atlantic. That could be seeing a bit of a return of the westerlies. So that one might be a little bit more changeable again as we go through to week 4. And then finally, we've got the CFS V2 forecast for June itself. So this is the 700 millibar height anomaly from the CFS V2 for June 2020, going for high pressure to be away to our northwest, low pressure to our south. We'll be bringing in quite a lot of easterly winds with that. The temperature anomaly is very close to average, not going for a particularly hot month. The precipitation anomaly actually looks a little bit drier than average, particularly to our northwest. So it remains to be seen what happens as we get through to the second half of June, but certainly the first half, we're going to pull down these northerly winds, and we are going to have a slightly more showery interruption. Whether it goes actually unsettled, something that we haven't had really since the early part of March, a period of very unsettled wet weather. Whether we get that, as the ECM suggests, by day 10 remains to be seen. Not a great deal of support for that idea. So at the moment, I think we stick with the idea that it's going cooler and there will be showers involved. But if you're down in the south and you're desperate for some rain, I wouldn't expect all that much in the way of widespread rainfall in the next week, at least. Beyond that, we shall see. Right, men, so that's Goswami Sunday Round-Up for this week. We'll do it all over again next week. Don't forget to check out the summer forecast. That's been placed on the summer forecast page with a written summary, or a written forecast, I suppose, this evening. We've got our autumn sneak peek coming up this afternoon as a long-range bandwagon will be rolling on from next week to autumn updates. And then from 5 o'clock, we're going to be live streaming. I'll embed it into Goswami and share it across social media accounts. If you want to get involved in the live chat, you will need to go through to YouTube. We'll be answering your questions. We'll be looking at the latest observations. It'll be a very warm afternoon, so it'll be interesting to see what the maximum temperatures are this afternoon. We're going to show you the Icelandic Met Office, ECM ensembles from the Icelandic Met Office, and we'll do some CFS V2 data for the winter of 2020-21. So we're going to extend out even further with our live stream and look at a little bit of winter 2020-21 data from the CFS, and that will be starting from 5 o'clock. But for GWV Sunday Round-Up, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.